Good evening. I would like to call to order the February 19th, 2019 Lake Washington School Board meeting. Tonight's board meeting was rescheduled from February 11th, 2019 due to inclement weather. So at this point, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the February 19th agenda.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Director Carlson and seconded by Director Sage to approve the agenda. All those in favor, please signify by voting aye.
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 All those opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. And from that, we will now move to our host school presentation. And so tonight, Dr. Stavum, would you be so kind to introduce our host school this evening?
I would be happy to, and actually they aren't one school, they are the organization that represents all of our schools, which is our PTSA Council, and Mindy Lincecum is the president this year, and she is here to talk about all things PTSA, and I would just like to say, as a person newer to our district, I've been so impressed by the level of parent involvement. And I know that's largely due to the robustness of our PTSA programs, and our schools have benefited just amazingly from the work of school groups as well as your district-wide group. So thanks for all that you do, and we look forward to hearing from you tonight. And make sure your mic is on.
I've used this before. But good evening, members of the board, and Dr. Stavum, thank you so much for having us here this evening. I am Mindy Lincecum, and it's really loud. And I'm serving as the PTSA Council President this year. And so we're just going to take a few minutes to share a little bit about what PTSA Council is and what activities we support and encourage throughout the district. Our mission as the PTA Council is to serve as a relevant resource to our local PTAs, families and community members throughout the district, and to advocate for the health, well-being, and education of every child. PTAs are all primarily advocacy organizations, but advocacy is not just legislative. It takes the form of a lot of different things and a lot of different ways that we support and contribute to our school community. One of those ways, as Dr. Stavum mentioned, our PTAs collectively, you'll hear at every board meeting, are very regular contributors, and through the generosity of our communities, support the district with close to $1 million a year across all the schools, as well as thousands of volunteer hours for programs that happen both in the school time and outside of school time to build community around our school things. The Lake Washington PTSA Council is kind of the connector piece between those individual local PTAs and the Washington State PTA and the National PTA. So we're kind of the intermediary. As of right now, this year we have almost 17,000 members, because everybody who is a member of a local PTA in our district is a member of our council PTA. So we have almost 17,000 PTA members in the Lake Washington School District. That represents well over 10% of the total PTA membership in the state. We're one of the largest councils in the state. We're bigger than some whole regions, in fact. This year, our Lake Washington PTA Council Board of Directors has 19 members, and most of us have served at the local PTA level with local PTA boards before coming up to serve as council. Again, that helps us be that support to our local PTAs. Collectively, our 19-member Board of Directors this year represent over 100 years of board service to our local PTAs prior to serving on council, and members of our council board have served for anywhere from 1 to 6 years on our council board currently. So what do we do? One of those things we do is we do support our 43 local PTAs. Each local PTA is an independent nonprofit organization. There's a lot of laws and regulations that go with being that, and we're involved with training all of those officers. Over 400 officers of those 43 PTAs and leaders in our local community. That number's growing. We have a new middle school coming on to our district next year, and we're likely to have a new PTA joining that community as well. We also serve at the council level as being a bridge between the district and the local PTAs, passing information, hosting monthly meetings to make sure that our local PTAs are aware of things that are happening at the district level as well as in their local schools. And we run programs that are more efficient or effective if they're held on a district-wide level. And so we're going to just share a few of those highlights about what some of those are. Many of our most popular programs are in the area of family and community engagement, which I know is also a priority for the district. One of our new events that started last year and it was very successful again this year was our new International Family Welcome event. We held this event twice in the fall, and we held it again this fall. 2 different occasions, over 100 parents joined us that were new to the district to learn about what it's like to be a student and a family in the Lake Washington School District in this community. And this year, actually, that show's going on the road. This spring, we're going to be repeating the event in more local learning communities on a smaller scale, but to catch those families who maybe weren't new in September but have since joined the district and have those kind of questions. Many of our family and community engagements we are able to do because we do in partnership with the district. Our parent education speakers that we sponsor 6 to 8 over the course of the year are funded by the district and organized and planned by the PTA. We also partner with the Lake Washington Schools Foundation to more effectively support the work of what's happening in the district. Some of the other family communities, we have efforts that happen at the local PTA level that we can bring those people together at a district level to learn from each other, to network, to get encouragement and enrichment engagement around the area of special needs, around ePrep, and then our new effort this year is sustainability. And that actually comes in our advocacy. This one's clicking in. We'll do that. Okay, so our second area of program highlights that we have besides family community engagement, again, PTAs are advocacy organizations. Both legislative advocacy, but also advocating for the health and well-being and education of every child in our district. So sometimes advocacy looks like raising awareness about an issue to our local school leadership, and sometimes advocacy looks like raising awareness of the strengths and the needs of our school to the greater community, whether it's our local voters or down in Olympia or our legislators. So see, these are some of our advocacy program highlights during the year. And finally, we do run some programs that touch each and every student, and some of them are here tonight. One of those is our scholarship program. We offer up to this year it'll actually be closer to $20,000, but usually 16 scholarships, 14 for graduating seniors, and 2 for staff, and they're awarded each spring for the next year. And our Founders Day program brings district and PTA leaders together. And then our Reflections Art Contest. And this is something that is a national PTA program. Each local PTA at a local school makes the program available to their students and community. And then they forward their best of the best. This year, almost 500 entries up to the council level where they're judged again and then are forwarded on. So we're going to, as a feature highlight tonight, we've got a few of our Reflections winners who were very successful at the local and district level, and now you get to enjoy their art this evening. So I'd like to introduce our Reflections chairs, Naveen and Hamna, if you want to come up, and they will introduce our performers for this evening. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Naveen, and this is Hamna. Yeah.
My name is Hamna.
So we're the co-chairs for Reflections 2018-2019. This year, our theme was Heroes Around Me, and Reflections has been going on since 1969, and there are about 6 categories: photography, literature, music, dance, film, and visual arts. So we have our visual art pieces, some of those pieces that will also be displayed at the Founders Day. So they are just part of that. This year we had over 460 entries from all over our schools, and 80 went forward to the state level. Some of the performers that will be performing today are one of the ones whose entries have moved forward. So I'm gonna, without further ado, I'm just gonna start calling our participants. Thank you. All right. So the first one is Mariela Chavez. Her title is Heroes All Around Me, and she's going to come and talk a little bit about her artist statement regarding the theme Heroes Around Me. All right. Is there a mic?
Hello, my name is Mariela Chavez. I'm in 5th grade at Mark Twain Elementary, and this is me dancing to Coming Home by the Soldiers. I did this dance for the 2 things I love the most, dance and our soldiers. They are my heroes because they fought for us to keep us safe. Please enjoy.
The music going to play? Okay, thank you. I'll just go back. Oh, oops. Okay, all right.
Every soldier who gave their life lives forever. Every soldier who fought the fight echoes in our minds. All the wounded and the brave, the ones God couldn't see. We salute your courage. Coming home with pride. Coming home with pride. Coming home with heads high. Heads high. Coming home from lands afar. Coming home to your arms. All those heroes who defend our flag will live on forever. All the heroes, both young and old, that soldier on to unknowns. From across this changing world, we live in the hope that you come back home. Coming home with pride. I'm coming home with pride. Coming home with heads high. Coming home from lands afar. Coming home to your arms. Coming home.
For next performance, we have Rohan. Literature.
So Ruhan's going to be reading her piece. You can just introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Rohan Juan, and I go to 5th grade in Krista McAuliffe Elementary. My title is Hero, and one night I read a true story on the internet about an autistic boy who saved his teacher's life. I was inspired to write a piece of writing based on that story from the boy's perspective. I think anybody around me could be a hero if you try to help someone, no matter if you just save another person's life or just buy a book or some popcorn for a kid who didn't have any money. Hero, based on a true story about an autistic boy saving his teacher's life. Here's an example of an equation. 5 times 6 equals 30. Mrs. Kenzer was reviewing some math vocabulary words we had already learned last year in 2nd grade. She suddenly stopped talking and started to cough continuously, each cough racking her body. I frowned. Did her lips just turn a little blue? Was there something wrong? Then Mrs. Kenzer began to sway, leaning heavily on the wall. She tried to stagger back to her desk, which was all the way across the room from where she stood, but she crumpled to the floor, still trying vainly to get to her feet and reach something on her desk, but with no avail. Finally, she collapsed onto her back and wheezed uncontrollably. I could see that her neck and chest was tightening. Hey, I thought, this is familiar. Wait, doesn't this look similar to that scene from the movie Are We There Yet? Anxious murmurs and whispers spread throughout the classroom. I glanced at Mrs. Kenzer, who was obviously in distress. Nobody was stepping up to help her. Someone has to lend a hand. Mrs. Kenzer might even die. I stood up. I attracted no one's attention because they were used to have me standing up all the time. At the beginning of the school year, everybody in the entire school has always been glancing at me uncomfortably when they passed by. Nobody even wanted to talk to me. I tried to fit in with everyone else, but I always seemed to poke out of the crowd. But now, even though nobody still wanted to talk to me, no one really paid attention to me anymore. I'm grateful for that. I sprinted over to Mrs. Kenzer's desk and snatched up her delicate purse, which was put at a neat, organized corner with her $500 glasses, unlike the messy, unorganized part crowding with all kinds of forms and homework sheets. I've caught everyone's attention now. I unfastened the clasp and rifled through the contents of the purse, finding the gazes of the other students highly awkward and uneasy. The thing that the boy in the movie used to breathe normally again, I think it looked like an L-shaped device. Finally, I found it. I scrambled to Mrs. Kenzer and handed it to her. Mrs. Kenzer was panicking. How did the boy in the movie spray the medicine in the thing? Oh, I remember now. The boy put the thing to his mouth and pushed the top to spray the medicine that came out into his mouth. Under the curious pairs of eyes of every person in the classroom, I guided her hand to her mouth and sprayed some of the medicine into it, just in the nick of time. After Mrs. Kenzer was fully conscious, she hugged me tightly like a mom would to her child. You saved my life, you're a superhero, Mrs. Kenzer exclaimed, her voice quivering. She looked as if she was on the brink of tears. I had never expected to hear that spoken to me in my whole lifetime.
Thank you, Rohan. Now our next up is Nevin. He has a music piece, and it's called Fallen, and I'll let him come and talk about his artist statement.
So I'm Nevin Atta, and I go in the 8th grade at Kirkland Middle School. I entered my piece in the music category. I used the piece to try to represent the fallen warriors that died to preserve the freedom of this country. There are many veterans that have returned to civilian life returned to civilian life to live among us. I tried to make it sound sad with minor keys and went minimalistic on the right hand of the piano, reminiscent of the age-old tune of taps, which is used by the military to play at the funeral of a fallen soldier.
Thank you, Nevin. I'm going to be playing his piece because it's a combination of a piano and cello. So we're in digital age, and all right, there we go. Do we need to?
For next performance, we have Caitlin. She has a beautiful music piece.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Lamb, and I'm from Tesla STEM High School. I'm in 9th grade, and my piece is called Unseen Heroes. This composition relates to the theme Heroes Around Me, with its consistent melody and motifs representing the hero. The melody starts out slow, showing how many heroes can be ordinary people. The theme picks up and develops further as the piece progresses, representing a heroic nature in the fanfare with a prominent trumpet melody.
Thank you. Now we are going to call Charlotte Gruyen, and she has a film, and she'll be our last performer for today. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Charlotte Gruyen, and I am in 6th grade, and I made an animation. In my story, The Kindness Bug, the new girl is being bullied by some kids from her school. A boy stands up for her, and they become friends. In my story, the hero is the boy who stands up for the girl. Kindness spreads like a virus.
Have a wonderful day at school, dear.
Who are you? You shouldn't even be here. You're such a baby. Oops.
Thank you so much for our performers for taking the time, and their parents for coming and joining us and making this fun evening even more lively. As you can see, they've put in a lot of effort in creating their work, and they're adhering to the theme and staying within the constraints of time limits of how to create a piece within 1 minute to 5 minutes. Thank you so much again. I'm going to have Mindy come back. Thank you. We're done. Oh, we're good? Okay. Thank you. I'm just going to close that out.
Thank you very much. It's great to see all the very different ways that we have our arts represented through dance and film and spoken and visual. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And next we will move on to having the recognition of our national semifinalists and commended scholars for the Tesla STEM High School. So Dr. Stephen.
Yes, and I'm going to ask Principal Cindy Duenas to come up and introduce her students to us.
So will the Tesla STEM High School scholars please come forward?
Just set them up here in the semicircle. And you don't have to face us. Face your parents. And finally, we've got a microphone somewhere that we're going to hand around to y'all. Very basic things. We'd love to know
Testing.
Who you are, what you're doing next year, and what you're majoring if you want to major in something. And finally, tell us about a teacher who made a difference in your life. Someone you want to say thank you to. And you've got 13 years of this district to sort through. So go ahead and finally, you've got less than a minute to do that.
All right, so I'm going to go very quickly. I want to thank the school board for your continued support for all the choice schools and programs in the Lake Washington School District. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. And also, very quickly, could the parents of these fabulous scholars please stand? Thank you. Thank you for all your love and support and dedication you give every single day to our young adults. Thank you. So remember, we have 1 minute, probably just maybe 2 minutes maybe. And remember your name, college, academic interest, and who are you thanking this evening?
Hi, my name is Adrian Kwan. I'm a senior at Tesla STEM High School. A college I would like to go to is UW Seattle, and I would like to major in mechanical engineering. Someone that I would like to thank is my environmental teacher from 10th and 11th grade. His name is Mr. Town. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ali Gilbert, and the two colleges I'm considering are Western Washington University and Evergreen State College, and I want to major in environmental science or engineering. And I would also like to thank Mr. Town, who I had for 2 years and who made a really big difference for me.
Hi, I'm Victoria Alkin. College is to be determined, not sure yet. I would like to major in neuroscience, and a teacher I would like to thank is Mr. Sturdivant.
Hi everyone, my name is Sonika Taide. I'm also senior at Tesla STEM. So my top choice is currently UW in Seattle, and I'm very interested in computer science. And a teacher I would like to thank is also Mr. Town, not only because of all the interest that he gave me in environmental science, but also because of how he taught us how important it was to make a change and have a voice in our community.
Hi everyone, I'm Lauren Kim, and currently I want to go into computer science, and my college, I do not know where I want to go yet. We'll see where I get in. And a teacher I would like to thank is Ms. Smith, who is my math teacher and also my Link Career Advisor and ASP Advisor.
Good evening, my name is Christine Lee, and I don't really know where I want to go in the future, but I do know I do want to study some sort of neuroscience, and I would really like to thank Mr. Shuffles, my English teacher, because she's a really great teacher.
Hi, my name is Hamza. I'm a senior at Tesla STEM High School. The college I really want to go to is University of Washington, Seattle, and I'm hoping to major in computer science. A teacher that I would really like to thank is Mr. Sturdivant, who was my math teacher in 10th and 11th grade, and he helped me through those 2 years of math and taught me really well.
Hi, my name is Shrenik Pedabotla. I'm a senior at Tesla STEM High School. I'm planning on going to the University of Washington next year, where my potential major is computer science. And a teacher I'd like to thank is my physics teacher from this year, Mr. Saxby.
Hi, my name is Aditya Balasubramanian. I have no clue where I'm going to go, but I hope to be strongly considering UW and Georgia Tech. I will be majoring in computer science, hopefully. And two of the teachers I would like to thank are Mr. Lineker and Mr. Ivy, who make up the history department at STEM.
Hi, my name is Pranav Sukumar. My top choice right now is UC Berkeley, and I hope to study computer science there. One teacher I would like to thank is Mrs. Smith.
Hi, my name is Claire Whiteside. I plan to major in engineering or biomedical engineering wherever I get in, and I'd like to thank Mr. Leslie, my environmental science teacher, because that was a really good class for expanding my worldview.
I'm Griffin White, and right now I'm looking into Oregon State for forestry, and I'd also like to thank Mr. Town.
Hi, my name is Andrea Lee. I plan to major in computer science at the University of British Columbia, and a teacher I'd like to thank is Ms. Shuffles.
Hi, I'm Lauren Collier, and I would like to major in civil engineering at BYU, and I would like to thank Mr. Sturdivant.
Hi, my name is Shal Kadia. I'm going to major in aerospace engineering. Don't exactly know where yet. Teacher I want to thank, I'm going to go back to elementary school, Ms. Cherian from Elizabeth Blackwell Elementary. I loved her. She was a great teacher.
My name is Jeremy. I'm a senior at Tesla STEM, and I hope to major in informatics at University of Washington, Seattle. And I'd like to thank my violin teacher, John Kim.
I'm Kevin Jacobson. I've been accepted to work on a Bachelor of Arts in Game Design at DigiPen, Institute of Technology. And teacher to think would be a sophomore programming teacher, Ms. Prellerson.
So now, for posterity, we like to hold you up here just for a minute longer to embarrass you while your parents take pictures of you. So get back up here, kids. Yeah, we'll take your mic. Just squeeze in so that you can all be seen. No hiding behind the tall dude. And parents, this is your chance. Oh, come on, squeeze. Yeah, exactly. No gaps. Parents, if you want a picture, now's your chance. And congratulations to all of you. This is a fantastic crowd. Always nice to see this team. Okay. From our video, it looks like the parents are almost done with the picturing, so you are now released. Go home and do some homework.
So thank you very much. We have one last thing. Actually, we have many more things, but the next one we have are the National Board Certified Teachers. And I will ask Dr. Stephen to call up.
Stephen Bryant. Stephen's going to introduce our nationally board certified teachers, which is, I think, rather nice to have that on the same night as recognizing National Merit Scholars.
I know, I couldn't actually think of a better night to be here. It's great.
Sorry.
Okay. I'd like to thank our school board and superintendent for the opportunity to honor this year's National Board Certified Teachers. The National Board process was created in 1987. The National Board for Professional Teaching Standards is an independent, nonpartisan, nonprofit organization devoted to advancing the quality of teaching and learning. The National Board certification process consists of a successful achievement in 4 components. The first component is a computer-based assessment that asks educators to demonstrate understanding of content knowledge and pedagogical practices for their certificated areas. Component 2 is differentiation and instruction, and this profile requires educators to gather and analyze information about individual students' strengths and needs and use that information to design and implement instruction to advance student achievement. Component 3, teaching practice and learning environment. This portfolio requires video recordings of interactions between students and the educator. The educator must describe, analyze, and reflect upon instruction and interactions with the students. The fourth component is reflective practitioner. This portfolio requires demonstration of evidence as an effective and reflective practitioner in developing and applying knowledge of students, effective use of assessment to plan for and positively impact in students, and learning and collaboration to advance students' achievement. All 4 components are scored by National Board certified peers. Washington State and Lake Washington School District continue to lead in increasing the number of National Board certified teachers. Numbers released by the National Board for Professional Teaching Standards show that Washington has the most new National Board certified teachers of any state, 854 this year. The total number of 10,859 National Board certified teachers makes Washington the 3rd in the country overall. This year, Lake Washington School District has 44 newly certified teachers that will be recognized today. This brings this year's count of Lake Washington School District Board certified teachers to 336, which is 5th in the state. Certification is a 1 to 3 year process that includes taking computer-based content assessment and assembling the 3 portfolios. Completing the certification shows that each teacher knows and practices the definitive standards of accomplished teaching. Chris Reichdahl, Superintendent of Public Education, notes the hard work, determination, and relentless self-reflection it took to get to this point is a major accomplishment. We are delighted to again welcome the largest class of new National Board certified teachers in the country. In addition, Governor Inslee said, Governor Inslee said, each year we see more and more of our teachers successfully becoming National Board certified teachers. Great teaching leads to great outcomes for our students, and we are proud of each of these educators for completing such rigorous process. I would also like to note that the success of our National Board certification program rests on a strong partnership between the Lake Washington Education Association and our district. We are grateful for this partnership and the support that the partnership provides to our educators. Before I close up, we wanted to take an opportunity to have one of our National Board certified teachers just give a short point of view from his point of view. So this is Tom House from Rose Hill Middle School.
Good evening, Board, Dr. Stabben. Thank you so much. It was just 20 short years ago, 1998, 1999, that the Board had the vision and the courage to support me and 12 other people in the state to become nationally board certified. So I want to thank you. It really makes a difference. It really, truly makes a difference when we have the board behind us, supporting us with both financial and then the days to work on our projects, et cetera. So it does make a difference. Thank you so much. Secondly, everybody needs a hero. Everybody needs inspiration, and my dad is here tonight. Hey, Dad, give him a wave. My dad's 93, and he started teaching in Lake Washington School District in 1955. And so everything you see around Lake Washington School District, like Jock McLaughlin, or the Bill McLaughlin Field, Walt Seablum, Dad knew all those guys, okay? And so he retired in 1987, and I started teaching actually in 79. So according to my principal here, there has been a Shirois, my last name, successfully teaching in Lake Washington School District for 63 years. So I wanted to thank my dad for that. And finally, one last thing to you newly certified teachers, congratulations. That's a major accomplishment, just tremendous. And revel in the glory. Tomorrow you got to get back at it, okay? And those kids will be there ready to go. They'll be ready to see you, and they'll be ready to listen to your inspiration. And remember, you might as well start preparing now, because in just 8 short years, you're going to have to go through renewal again. All right. Thank you very much. 5 years. Oh, 5 years. Okay. 10 years.
Okay, so we're very proud of our new 24 National Board Certified teachers and 19 National Board Renewal teachers. We're pleased at this opportunity to recognize them for their achievement. At this point, I'd like to introduce Kathy Colombo, our lead National Board Facilitator. She'll read the names of our newly certified and recertified educators. We're going to invite you to come up front and to be recognized, and so that we can get that picture in too. So, Kathy, thank you.
Thank you so much. And it's so good to see so many of you here again. Isn't it nice that you don't have to come to this room once a month? Yeah. So I'm going to read your name, and when I read your name, please come up. Not everyone could be here, but I do want to honor and read everybody's name. Diana Baylor. Mary Binder. Whitney Clarkin. Woo-woo. Sharon Curry. Alexandra Dampierre. Tracy Felton. Laura Flagg. Am I loud enough? Can you hear me? Andrea Frankenfeld. It's okay, you can let me know. I'm a teacher. Susan Hodges. Woo-hoo. Allison Karras. Jennifer McCreary. Woo-hoo. Heidi Menzenberg Vilna. Yay! Erica Nation. Ryan O'Connor. Michelle Okroy. Yay, Michelle. Sarah Rigby. We're going to do it out in the... Yeah. We're going to make you get your picture first, then we'll give you your swag. Ashley Rowe. Bethany Shota. Oh, my fingers. Jinda Rossman. Yay, Jinda. Rachel Perkins. Woo-woo, Rachel. Teresa Vasquez. Cindy Simon. And there are 3 people who are no longer in our district. Emily Borden, I know, went through the program and went somewhere else. Joanna Gillier. Courtney Kirkpatrick. So these are the first time National Board certified teachers. Need to learn how to say that. And now we have renewal candidates. I want to thank, and I neglected to introduce the co-facilitator for our program, my colleague Leanne Jackson, who also is a renewal for this year. And we have Tom Truehouse, Kendall Howden, Barbara Roy, Jason Ewart, and this used to be a 10-year process. Now it's moving to a 5-year renewal process. Katie Badger, Vincent Noto, Robert Harold, thank you, Stephen, Rachel Brackett, Jill Johnson, Nancy Sullivan, June Evanson, we'll get there, Richard, Steve Schusler, I put you on the bottom, no, I'm kidding, I'm teasing, Elise Lamont, Eric Hansen, Richard Snyder, Wendy Robarts, and Stacy Allen. So this is our group this year, and I want to thank you because not only have you learned a lot, but as your facilitator, I have learned alongside of you too. Thank you so much.
Okay, so now we'll all squeeze together and the parents are going to come forward and take your picture. Yeah. All right. And as always, thank you to the teachers that participate in this program. This is always a delight each year to see people who've gone through learning how to be an even better teacher and caring about doing that. We do appreciate that, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much again for your extra time and dedication in getting that certification and the benefit our students get from the extra efforts you all have put in. Thank you very much for doing so. And please feel free. We are going to be moving on with the rest of the business of our meeting. We thank you for attending. You are welcome to stay, or you can catch us on video. Your call. But you are welcome to also go.
We know you have homework to grade.
Okay, so we do not have anybody currently signed up for public comment, but I will ask, is there anybody in the audience who would like to do public comment? Seeing none, we will go ahead and move on to our consent agenda. So with that, I will now entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Move approval.
Second.
It has been moved by Director Carlson and seconded by Director LaLiberty to approve the consent agenda. Dr. Stavum, would you poll the board?
Cassandra.
Yes.
Eric.
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
Mark.
Yes.
Siri.
Yes.
Motion passes.
And if you could do a favor and summarize the donations that we have received.
I would be happy to do that. This month we have a report of donations in total of $73,145.38. $54,939 come from the PTSA, which is just another kudos to them and their great partnership with our district. And then we have the amount of $18,206.38 from private sources, and we thank all of those organizations or people who donated to a number of worthy causes in our district.
Thank you. And so the listing of all of those are available on the agenda packet if you're interested in seeing those specifically, as well as a thank you letter will be going out to those places. And as always, it's through this community support that we're able to engage and enhance our experience for our students as much as they are and have the success that we do. So thank you so much for all of that. So our next step is on the consent agenda is the ends results assertion of progress for science. Just to sort of give an introduction to that, this is a summary of the presentation that we had about a month ago in regards to where we are at in reaching the outcomes for the ends results under science. Director Carlson has been working to summarize what our statements were in that assertion, and I'm going to hand it over to him as to where to go.
So in terms of the monitoring report, I wanted to publicly flagellate myself for the fact that I have not finished it, and therefore I wanted to acknowledge that publicly rather than burying it in the consent agenda. And I apologize. I really do intend to get this done. It's not an unimportant thing. It's just I have been rather snowed in for the... Sorry, bad pun. I really have been professionally snowed in for the last few weeks, and the net result is that I'm not going to be able to get it done. Fortunately, the thing that has had me snowed in is this Thursday and Friday. The meeting happens, and after that point, I have the time to finish this and get it the heck off of my plate. So I promise you, by the next time, it will be on our non-consent agenda for ratification.
So I am hearing the motion to move this to the next agenda, table the item, and move it to.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, then it will be placed upon our next agenda in March and will go out in the board packet prior from that. So thank you, and we appreciate the time, understand the commitment that goes with it. This will be helpful as we move forward to do our superintendent evaluation that will be happening in April. So these are sort of the key things that we utilize in which to be able to do that summative evaluation. So thank you for those efforts. With that, we will move to program reports. And tonight is facilities, so I will leave that for Dr. Statham.
Yes, I'm going to ask Brian Buck and Barbara Posthumus to come up. They have an extensive report because we have a lot of projects happening in our district. They're going to give us an update on those projects. And then I'm going to ask them both to remain for the superintendent report because we also have some interesting data and information regarding our recent weather. So they'll be part of both of those agenda items. So Barbara, go right ahead.
Great, thank you very much. So here for our kind of quarterly, Diane, you've got this. All right, great. Quarterly facilities report. We last updated the board at the November meeting on our 2016 bond projects. We have 8 projects across the district. So we'll look at each of the projects. Juanita High School is our rebuild and enlarge high school that is opening, partial opening in fall of 19, and the final phase will be done in fall of 2020. So some of the recent accomplishments is we completed the exterior building envelope. And that means it's all protected from weather, and that happened in December. And casework installation began also in December. The roofing was complete in January, and then there's concrete burnishing and polishing began in January. And then what's coming up is we're installing the elevator. That's important in high school. And our geothermal well drilling complete in February, and sheetrock installation will be complete in March. So then the best part of all this is the pictures. So the left photograph is the aerial view of the high school, so you can see a lot of completion since the last time we showed you a photograph. So the bottom left is just a project site plan image. Well, that's back on this slide. So, sorry, let me get to my right descriptions here. The top right photo shows completed masonry on the new building, and then the middle photo shows the view of the developing north end of the campus where the new parking lot will be. And then the bottom right shows the exterior metal siding being installed in the courtyard. And this is the plan. The blue area shows what the portion of the campus that is opening in fall of 2019, and the orange portion is what's opening in fall of 2020. And then just some more pictures, and we have some recent snow pictures, and we'll talk more about the snow in a little bit in the presentation. But the top left is the theater portion of the building, and the top middle is geothermal drill rigs are working on 75% of the wells are complete. The bottom left photo is looking southeast on the northwest side of campus, and that's the main school entrance and the large glass windows of the commons. And the bottom middle is the glass windows on the first floor of the administration area and two-story windows of the library above that. And then to the right is the installation of metal panels in progress. So then some interior photos. The left photo is the chemistry labs and beginning of casework installation. And then the top right photo is in the south end of the library, and you can see casework beginning to be installed there. And the bottom right is a photo taken from the second floor overlooking the commons. And you can see the concrete floors have been polished. And then the middle photo is looking down the hallway of the counseling and administration area with sheetrock and painting complete. Some more interior photos of Juanita. The top left is the theater stage, so you can see that curved wall of the theater. And then in the top middle is the second floor walkway over the commons, and those bars in the middle are where they're going to install kind of counter bars for people to sit at, the students to sit at during lunch. And then the bottom left is the second floor hallway with the new elevator, and the middle is the library looking north. And then the right photo is taken in the commons. There's the beam stairs, the wood was salvaged from Juanita High School, the old high school, and is being repurposed in the new high school. Okay, so moving on to Timberline Middle School. It's our new middle school that's opening in September of 2019, and it is on schedule. And again, this is another aerial photo of the site and the site image. And some accomplishments for this project is we've installed the kitchen equipment. The gym wood floor is complete and lockers have been installed. And then this month, the gym bleachers will be installed. And in April, the admin and library casework will be installed, and the elevator will begin working in May. So some more pictures of Timberline. So the top right photo is the main entry, library and commons, and there's some snow in that picture also. The bottom middle shows the front of the school and the drop-off loop, and then the bottom left photo shows the exterior of the gymnasium. And then here's some interior photographs. You can see that nice gym floor. And the top the top left photo is the view of the commons from the main entry. So that's the large main entry with the beautiful windows looking out toward the woods. And then the bottom left photo is a view of a shared instructional area. And in the center is the main office from the entryway, and casework is being installed. And then the bottom right photo is the landscaped area between the commons and music room building and the 3-story classroom wing. And there is snow on that picture, so the landscaping is covered in snow right now. So some additional pictures. The top middle photo is the admin corridor. The top left photo is the learning gallery, and the bottom right photo is the bookshelves being installed in the library. Oh, and I should mention the top right photo is what we're calling a ratio wall. It's designed with various size square panels, so just a design feature there. All right, moving on to Kirk Elementary School. That's our rebuild and enlarge project opening in fall of 2019, and that is on schedule. And here's an aerial view of the site, and then the smaller inset is the finished site plan. And some accomplishments since our last report was the steel installation is completed, exterior wall framing is completed, and the roof installation began in January. This month, the weatherproofing will be complete and drywall installation will begin, and then the exterior building envelope will be complete in March. And some pictures of Kirk. So there's the vapor barrier is the orange product, and then the lower left is a rendering of the main entry, and the lower right shows the gymnasium under construction. And then Margaret Mead Elementary School is our other rebuild and enlarge elementary school, which will open in September of 2019. Again, an aerial view and the finished site plan, and that building is on schedule. And similar to Kirk, the structural steel installation was completed in November, exterior wall framing completed, and roof installation began in January. And again, very similar to Kirk, drywall installation begins in February, and the building envelope will be completed in March. So some pictures of Mead. The top left is the exterior of the 3-story classroom pod. The lower left is the rendering of the main entry. The top right is a photo of the hallway entering the classroom pod, and the lower right is a progress photo of a classroom, the brace frame in the background. So, and then the final project that will be opening in fall of 2019 is Old Redmond Schoolhouse. That's just a site, the exterior, which is not changing, and then the site plan. Again, that project is on schedule. In January, we finished the demolition and the wood framing. And again, this is an interior remodel project, so the exterior is not being changed. And so, and then coming up in February and March is electrical and mechanical rough-in, drywall and installation begins, and then painting and casework begins. Just some pictures of the various walls. And the top left is the unique wood framing, which is the original wood framing, so you can see the unique characteristics of how the wood was laid in the walls at an angle. And then the lower left is the exposed original wood floor, and then the lower middle shows the future preschool reception area, and then the right is the classroom being framed. So the next slides are about our completed projects. Clara Barton, which opened in September, and there's always additional things that need to happen once you open a new school. We needed to install the projector in the commons, and then there is commissioning transition phase, which is about the mechanical, making sure everything is working as we want it to work once you're in the building. And then continue to have a warranty walkthrough, and that will happen through June. And then just a picture of Clara Barton. And then Ella Baker is our another elementary school that opened in September. And same at Baker, we installed the Commons projector in December, and then we are revising. Baker is a unique site with there is only one way to that school, one way in and one way out of that school. And so once school started, we learned that we needed to look at different ways of moving traffic in that area. So we've redone, Brian and his team have redone kind of how we flow parent traffic into that school, and they implemented it, I think, the week before the snow. So they're still experiencing having parents learn that new traffic plan. So we'll get an update on how that's going in the next month or so. And then the sand playfield needed regrading, and so that will be done in June, and the warranty walkthrough in June. There's just some pictures of the school. And then Explorer Community School, which opened in September 2017, and the project closed out in December. And then the next slides will talk about the program itself and the cost and kind of a financial update. This is similar to what you've seen before. We monitor our costs and our estimates on a regular basis. We are constructing buildings in the third most expensive construction market in the nation. We actively valued and engineered our cost savings to mitigate this escalation, and all these intentional measures offset the cost from the increasing costs in the current market. So our projects are 100% bid out, so they're locked in, and risk from market volatility is low. So we have the April 2016 voter-approved bonds. We have sold all of the bonds that the voters approved. We did that in 3 different times. So the first set was sold in August of 16, and then we sold the second $165 million in November of 17, and then our final bond sale just closed in December. We sold that in November of 18. So our bonds receive the highest credit rating assigned to any school district in the state, which keeps our interest rates low. So we have and I didn't correct the typo. Standard & Poor's AA+, and Moody's should be MOODYS AAA. Apologize for that. So that helps keeps our interest rates low. So that's good news. Then this is a new slide just to provide information on our revenues and kind of our expenditures. And as I mentioned, all of our projects are on schedule. They're all on time. On the revenue side, how the program consists of our $429 million program, and how we were going to pay for that was $398 million in bonds, and then $10 million in impact fees, and $21 million in state construction assistance funds. To date, we have the $398 million in bonds. We have actually received $17 million in impact fees, and then we have not yet received the state construction assistance funds. Those come really at the end of the projects. You have to claim them after you spend a portion of the funds. So that's an update on the revenue side of the projects. And then on the expenditure side of the projects, we have, of the $429 million plan to date, as of December 31st, we have spent $235 million. And the majority of our projects are going to be done this summer. And so we expect 80% of the program will be spent by the end of the school year. So that number will rise by the end of the school year. So as I mentioned, state construction assistance funds were planned at $21 million for 3 projects, Kirk, Meade, and Juanita. We did receive approval from OSPI, but those funds will be received at the end of the projects. And the program contingency that was planned in the bond program are being used to offset jurisdictional requirements, our market conditions, and any unforeseen project impacts. So I mentioned you saw some pictures of the snow, so I just wanted to mention some weather impacts. So our snowstorms in the last 2 weeks did make it difficult for construction crews to get to sites, and it did delay some material deliveries and impacted exterior site work. But we will continue to work with our GCCM partners to ensure projects stay on schedule. So our communication continues with our projects, our Building on Success projects. We have our monthly Bond e-news updates, our continued video stories, posts on websites, social media, Facebook Live broadcasts, and then we mailed out our annual Bond Progress mailer to all district households in November. And this is, again, our website where you can get more information on all our projects, and those video stories are posted. And that concludes that piece of the presentation.
Okay, thank you. I'm just going to see if there are any questions or comments that anybody has prior to your going on. Director Sage.
I just have a question on slide 38. It looks like you've built in contingency and everything is going to be fine, but saying it could create a cash flow challenge. Do you have any anticipation it's going to go over the 19.9 contingency?
I just want to go to that slide.
38.
And, sorry.
That's okay.
Are you talking, you're talking this, the second bullet. So
yes.
We, right now, based on our cash flow projections, we believe that if we get the state construction assistance, when we typically get receive it and we claim it, we've spent a certain amount of our projects and then we claim it and they reimburse us right away, we anticipate that we will be able to manage the cash flow. So it would be only if there are delays on the state side for reimbursement that it would be a challenge. So we monitor that on a regular basis. We probably aren't going to be able to start claiming. It would be next school year is when we would see our first reimbursements of that. So we still have Juanita, we still have the Juanita project that we're working on. So we won't have all the money spent before we start claiming. So
and that's exactly what I was hoping to highlight, is that it's very difficult when you don't get any funding from the state up front, when the very small amount, I think it's between 8 and 12%, that we do get reimbursed for, comes after everything is complete, all I's dotted, T's crossed, and maybe then some.
Correct.
So thank you for building in that contingency.
You're welcome. Okay.
Any other questions or comments? Excellent. Well, thank you very much. It's always great to see how efficiently and effectively these projects are moving along.
Great. It's very exciting to see all the projects and so.
And this has been a difficult time to be building and maintaining under budget. So kudos to staff and being able to do so and that additional work going forward. We build incredibly quickly. I'm not sure people realize the fact that in 2 years we had elementary schools opened, and it is a pretty amazing process. And kudos to staff to really be able to work that through well within our community, stay within budget, and build these needed facilities for the education. So thank you very much for that work.
Thank you.
So as we transition to the agenda item, which is my report, I want to start by saying a whole bunch of thank yous. And maybe even before that, I just want to say how disappointed I am in Washington's weather after thinking that I escaped all of this snow business, and it followed with a vengeance.
You brought it with you.
I am taking partial blame, just as I took responsibility for the sunny, beautiful days that we were having so unexpectedly earlier this year, but we'll take the good with the bad. That being said, it is a weather event that is not common, and so I learned a number of things about weather management in a state that doesn't have it as often, and we're also taking the opportunity as a district to learn some things that hopefully we won't get a chance to practice as we ask our students to do, is to have repeated practice. We do not want that, but we are looking at lessons learned, and we're also looking at how we do some of our coordination when it's required, and I think it's a rare occurrence where we're trying to coordinate with multiple cities all at one time. My understanding is typically it's been a little heavier maybe in one area than another, and the prolonged amount of time and the prolonged huge amounts, one coming after another, created some really unique circumstances for us. So that being said, we need to give a huge thank you to, first of all, our crews that worked on cleanup. We had everything from the snow itself, which my husband terms heart attack snow, very heavy, wet, difficult to move snow, as well as downed trees and brush and power lines. And then, of course, we have sites that were built to be outdoors and moving around, and lots of spaces that needed to be cleared. And so there were some heroic efforts made, and we'll talk about those a little bit specifically here in the presentation. The other shout out we have to give is to our bus drivers, as well as our custodians and maintenance crews, because when all of this first began, there were still some dicey moments behind the wheel, and getting our kids home is of great importance to us, but we know just geographically we have some challenging areas. And so I took an accidental trip through some of those geographically challenging areas thanks to my phone that took me on a little bit of an extended route, but it was actually good because driving those roads with snow on them is a treacherous adventure. And so it was a good experience for me as I think about our buses out and the things that they do on the clearest of roads, but then you add just a little bit of ice or snow, and then you add a lot of ice and snow, and it becomes a completely different deal. I'd also like to thank our staff who returned today, because we know that we've had missed instructional time. We'll be working on whatever plans we're going to need to make for any lost instructional hours that we may have to make up due to the state requirements for how many hours we have to have of instruction. We often think of it in terms of snow days, but we're actually looking by hours to see what we think we need to make up. You have to keep in mind that every school district is different. We had midwinter break last week, so those days were already off towards the later end of our week. We had some weather-related early release, late start event before the governor declared the state of emergency, and then the subsequent waiver opportunity. We have other times where we may not have a school in session for events, and so all that's built into a school calendar. And so what we'll do is review where we are with our required instructional hours, and we aren't finished for the year. And I keep looking at my phone, and I love it when raindrops are there instead of snowflakes, and they vacillate back and forth, I'm finding, depending on what hour I might be looking at my phone. So we still have a little bit of winter to go, and so we're going to try and make our good decisions about what we think we need to do for making up those hours. But it requires teachers today to do a lot of replanning and a lot of rescheduling in order to make up some lost time, and so we appreciate those efforts as well. And then finally, our parents, who had a little bit of extended play at home with our students, and we know that they were very creative and they were pushing reading those books and interacting with their children and growing those relationships, but it was a long time to have children at home when you might not have been planning for it, which also means disruptions in work schedules. It means trying to find childcare. It means all of those things when it's difficult to get out and leave your home. And so I think our parents and families deserve a shout out as well, just because we've all had to go through this weather event. And so we thank all of our staff. We thank all of the folks who helped us clear out. So I thought it would be very interesting for Brian to share some actual real-time information about what it really took, because I think it's important to note with a district of 30,000 students in the geography that we have, it is no small feat to recover from this event.
And before Brian starts the presentation, I just want to give a personal thank you to Brian. Brand new director of support services, and we get the snowstorm, and I never once heard Brian say we can't. He told me, here's what we're going to do to get this done. And so every question I had was met with a response that says, here's what we're going to do. So he's got some great pictures for you, and I'll let him take it off.
Okay. So, yeah, we had quite a bit of snow. 4 different events covering almost 2 weeks. We have power notifications, several hundred going each day, but at one point we had up to 16 schools that were actually out of power. 45 campuses with 2 district office sites to clear. And, after Monday, we came in on Tuesday. We had somewhat of a skeleton crew. We couldn't even get out of our yard on Tuesday. Grounds maintenance, all custodial crews. It's all hands on deck in an event like this. We worked multiple weekends. We had up to 5 plowing teams. We had a separate sidewalk walkway team. We had a tree, limb, and debris team. And our individual custodians as well are driving in and trying to get there, and essentially they have a shovel, and that's what they're trying to get some walkways cleared. So equipment, we have 2 snow plows that we've had with the district. They're on trucks, like a F-250 truck. We purchased those plows over 5 years ago, and they sat for about 5 years. We've used them the last couple of years, and we were real thankful to have them this year. We had a tractor going 16 hours a day. We had a sanding truck that mixed sand and ice melt going 8 hours a day. We rented a skid steer, which is a small tractor, and another small tractor so we could try to get up on some of the large campus hardscapes and clear it. We contracted our capital team. We have 5 active capital projects. Our capital team jumped in and reached out to some of our contractors and hooked us up with a snowplow service. So we got 3 extra snowplows that were running up to 16 hours a day. And we purchased, I believe on the Monday before, we got the last 3 snow blowers at the local Kubota tractor house. It takes about 4 hours to plow an elementary school, 6 hours on a middle school, and a high school is at least 8 hours. So, like I said, our maintenance and ground staff not only were out plowing and applying ice melt, but they're also responding to broken pipes, boilers that are out, power outages, roof leaks, gutter and scupper clearing, and the tree, limb, and debris clearing. We also called in a third-party roofing crew to come in and take a look at our flat roofs because they were in danger of collapsing. Custodians are out clearing walkways, again, with a bucket of ice melt and a shovel. They're checking for water leaks. They're ensuring our pipes aren't freezing. And they're ensuring that our heating systems are working so when we do return to school, we have a warm and safe environment. Our mechanics are maintaining buses and vehicles. At one point, one of our plows went down, and within 3 hours, we had it back up. They drove to Kent to grab a part and got it back on the road. They're also responding to the buses that are out there navigating in this weather. And they also helped clear the bus lot. So on Tuesday, we had to try and clear the bus lot so the buses could get out. Bus drivers are transporting kids during inclement weather, and when needed, they're out installing chains on their buses. This little picture was sent here by an Evergreen Middle School parent who says, my daughter's bus driver is a rock star because I saw him maneuver in the snow, which was impressive. So some stats. Over 900 miles of area plowed, over 14,000 tons of snow plowed, over 400 hours of labor on plows and tractors, over 10 tons of ice melt distributed, over 40 tons of sand, and again, we had 10 sites that had blocked either parent loops or bus loops, and 16 sites that had power outages. So here's a look. This is Wilder on the left. That's on Tuesday, the 12th. And then you can see the site of Smith Elementary up on the plateau. This was our bus lot on Tuesday. And that's the first thing we started trying to clear, primarily because we couldn't get out of the lot. This is Thursday, February 14th at McAuliffe. And you can see that they got a ton of snow, and then the snow came off the roof. It's about 15-foot high pile of snow there. That's McAuliffe on Sunday. So significant strides in just a couple days. This is Rockwell on Friday the 15th. This is Rose Hill Elementary, had some tree limbs down, as well as their back access there was completely filled. This is Rose Hill. This is one of our plows, plowing Rose Hill Middle School. And this is Baker's parent or bus loop on Friday, the February 15th. Baker was a challenging site just to get to. In fact, I was out on Saturday and almost got stuck just trying to get to Baker. This is Juanita Elementary on the left. This is at one point when our second plow was down. Our snowplow crew pretty much cleared that whole lot with snowplows, or with the snow blowers, yeah. Sandburg Elementary on Friday. This is the road that goes down to the Thoreau entrance. This was a road that we actually plowed because the city couldn't get to it. And this is Lake Washington High School and Redmond High School. So we were able to get some of the small equipment up there to help the custodian clear the hardscape. And then again, this is Redmond High School. And this is just a pic of our outstanding staff. You can see them where we got our snow blowers. We're training them. We had to do our training on them. And this is in the middle there is one of our maintenance supervisors showing them how to use it. And that's the little skid steer tractor that allows us to get up on sidewalks that we rented. And I think that's it.
So where I came from, there's very few trees and very few stairs. And I've had to learn of the impact of both of those, but wow, those are very powerful pictures. Someday we'll sit and say, remember the big snowstorm of 2019? And we'll be happy it was just a memory.
I've got to say, hands down, that's my favorite Soups report ever. I was flipping through those pictures beforehand, and I was just like, come on, get to the good stuff. Because it's insane that we, at one point, for a 2-day period, we've got a third of our schools have no power. That's something that people might not appreciate, that their school might look clean, but we're a district of 50 buildings. And the effort it took to get us back to just being functional today is huge. I'm so proud. And at the same time, there's all those little frustrating things that, if we plan for this again, it'll be at least 6 years. That's just for sure. But, there's all those little things where it's like, well, what can we do better next time? And the hardscape is the only one I've run into that's definitely an issue, where we had minor things that are important things, like the plows. What's the last spot on the run? The last spot is our handicapped spot. That can't be where we pile the snow. But it's where the snow naturally winds up. So we got to figure out some ways around that. Mark noticed that. I actually noticed that our parking lot was clear at Lake Washington, but the walking paths had all the snow from the parking lot on them. So it's definitely something where there are some things that we can learn from, but I really do want to echo everything that's been said. Your crew did an amazing job, and fingers very tightly crossed, we're over for this season. So thank you.
Snowing tonight on the ridge already. No, I want to add my 2 cents also. Great job. To be quite frank, the handicap spots that I saw covered were at Fred Meyer. Now, they had the electric car slots. Oh, they were clean as can be. They had all this snow piled up on the handicap spots, which...
In our spots. I apologize.
No, but I want to comment on that just because I had a real life experience today of seeing someone in a wheelchair who was really not able to pass on a sidewalk. And so I do think that's important to note is there's multiple ways people get to school every day, and our walkers who are walking still have some really blocked paths in places, and our crews have done a great job of clearing our school sidewalks. But I mean, this was just a lot of snow, and it's difficult once it's been there for a couple of days then to move snow, and people I know didn't even have equipment to do so in many cases. But that's an important thing to notice is how accessible are things when we have something like this type of weather event.
So yes, thank you. Along with all the amazing support being done by the school district and being able to get those things done, it was rather fun to see when you would see the community also coming forward. Before schools were opening, there were Facebook posts of, hey, we need to clear some of these sidewalks for our walkers. Come meet at the school and let's clear those. If we all get these done, we can clear the pathway. So there was a lot of really good, solid coming together from multiple angles. So appreciate the support and the community coming forward to help out because there are a lot of sidewalks and we do want to encourage walking. So that's great. So thank you very much. That was very fun. And yes, we hope it's over. So after snow, we're going to move to a legislative update. So Director LaLiberty, as our legislative rep, looking forward to hearing how we're going. We're about starting the 6th week, if I remember correctly.
Right. So I'll start by saying, unfortunately, because of the snow, the WASDA-WASA legislative day down on the weekend, days down on the Hill, was canceled. So because of that, I think it's prudent for the district to send some reminders to our legislators about what our issues were that we met with them about before the session. So Dr. Statham, I'm sort of breaking this on you now, but I think I would like to work with staff to put something together to get out sometime in the next week or so. Okay, so updates on where things stand in the legislature. And unfortunately, my computer died, so I had to jot down notes from memory that I'll try to go through now. Anything I miss, I may send out an update to the board tonight. So one of the things our board has talked a lot about, and this dovetails with a lot of the conversation we've had tonight about facilities and our enrollment and our upcoming levy effort, is to change the current requirement for 60% passage to a simple majority. There are 2 bills out of committee in the Senate right now. One would permit new bonds with a simple majority. The other would at a 55% threshold. So we have advocated for, as a board, and WASDA has as well, for the simple majority. One thing to think about, though, is whether it makes sense to back a 55% as a compromise measure. And it's important when we think about that. So that's something I think the board, I'd like to actually hear some of the board's perspective after I finish talking about. So I just want to, I don't know if everyone remembers, but in order for this to pass and become law, it requires a constitutional amendment. So that means 2/3 of both houses have to support it. And then the governor has to sign it. And then a majority of voters have to approve it at the next election. So it's a heavy lift to change that law. I believe if we had a 55% threshold, many of our previous bond efforts would have passed. So it would make a significant difference for our district and our students. And then a similar, so both bills are now out of committee in the Senate and being considered by Ways and Means. And similar bills are also being still considered in committee by the House. So I guess before I move on to some other topics, I would be kind of curious to hear from individual board members. Do we want to, or when we communicate with our electeds, is the 55% threshold something we are interested in pushing for?
question in my mind is who are the sponsors really, and who are the co-sponsors of the two bills as to how much stroke each one of them has. You see where I'm going?
I don't know the answer to that.
I didn't think you would off the cuff. But my point is that whoever has the most oomph, if you will, to push their bill is probably the one that's going to go the farthest.
I would say that, so based on our conversations with the legislators that we've met with, getting 2/3 of both houses to agree to anything will be difficult. So the compromise may be more likely. Every elected that we met with that represents us is supportive of the simple majority. I think that on the other half of the state is where there is more resistance. So I don't know, it doesn't really answer your question, but I think that this will be, I think compromise will be, my opinion is that compromise would be required to get anything moved.
Is it possible to do a sliding scale of a bill where you have for 8 years, 10 years, whatever, you do the 55, then it slides into the 50? I don't know if that's even legislatively possible.
I have no idea.
But also another indicator was who came out of the committee strongest as far as, passing out of committee. That might be helpful to know, too.
That I do know. That I can tell you that they had identical support coming out of committee.
All right.
The same people who voted against one voted against the other.
You're asking some very interesting questions, and at the end of the day, there's the strategic, what can we actually get to happen? And then there's the ask is something that I find very important, and I don't think we're to the point where we should be going with Plan B just yet, because, these sort of compromises, there was a compromise on comprehensive school funding when I was 7 years old, and we're just now starting to fix it through McCleary. You make a compromise, it's a compromise for generation, period. We'll all be retired from our role in this if we settle for 55. And so from that perspective, I want to be certain that 50% is impossible before I even think about supporting 55. That's my perspective.
Director Sage, anything?
I think anything below 60 is good, and we should support it.
Yeah.
Good point, though.
Yeah.
I would continue that with the difficulty of which to be able to get either 55 or 50. So a simple majority, I think as we advocate, that's definitely where we believe is the best approach.
Yeah. Because
that is truly a long-term sort of gain. And at this point, I think it makes sense to continue to voice that is what we would like to see.
Okay, thank you, everyone. I'm going to continue moving through some of our priorities. So another related to construction as well, the school construction assistance program. There's some debate over changes to that. There is a bill that is now being discussed in Ways and Means that would change both the square footage that the state funds. So if you remember, right now we are on. Thank you, Siri. 1970s funding mechanism. So the square footage that the state builds into their methodology dramatically underappreciates what is required to construct a modern school. So the proposal that is being discussed by Ways and Means would increase that square footage over time. Now, the policy rationale for that is a bit dumbfounding, but perhaps it's just something they believe they can get passed. And it's less money is why they can defer the cost. So that's what it would do. And it would also increase the dollar per square foot that the state is funding, again, stepping up over time. And then I believe it's in 2023, when it hits the end point, then it pegs it to a formula that is based on the prior year's construction costs for districts. So that makes a lot of good policy sense. So we explained to our legislators when we previously met with them the importance of updating this formula. I think it's important that we remind them of that. As I said, it's currently in Ways and Means. Senator Palumbo, who is one of our elected officials is on the Ways and Means Committee. So we will reach out to him. Okay. Special education funding is also a major priority for the board. When we met with our legislators, we explained to them the cost to the district above and beyond what the state currently funds. I was just reading that OSPI, so statewide, estimates $308 million annual cost to districts beyond what the state currently pays. So there are a number of policy or a number of different proposals that are in committee right now. One would increase the multiplier beyond what it is today. Another would change to a multi-tiered funding approach. When we met with our legislators, we pushed a change to the multiplier, the idea being the administrative cost of implementing a tiered approach would be difficult. Basically, the issue we have is the state's funding is inadequate currently. So we will remind our legislators of that, and those bills are still being discussed in committee right now. Okay. Another major issue for our district is the state is considering, they're currently debating changing the implementation of the McCleary funding. A number of districts, I can't remember the exact number, a significant number of districts saw a decrease in funding in the McCleary implementation. So we have, as we've explained to our legislatures, that's great, fix that, but we've planned long-term for the funding that we're told we're going to receive, so any changes we need to be held harmless. And it appears that the current that has permeated into the current discussion, but we need to make sure that we're reminding our legislators of that. I think that wraps up everything that I wanted to hit tonight. If I missed anything, I'll send an email out to the board.
Any questions? Follow-up, I was going to say, there has been, so you do have WASDA's website, the legislative update is sent out, so Jessica Vazras work from government relations, as well as Dr. Stavum has sent out the week in review, I believe it is. TWIO, there we go. That also provides from the association, Washington Association of Superintendents, correct? And they're sort of legislative, school administrators, there we go. So that's another place that you can get more detailed information.
Eric, the point you're making about the construction area, changing the formula, does that go back to the old, let's count the boiler room as classroom space?
No, I mean, the issue is just what a district assumes a school, the issue is what the state assumes a school needs to have and what the square footage they're funding. Look, I mean, it's a formula. Whether they adjust the dollar per square foot or adjust, the issue is the state is just dramatically underfunding the capital construction for schools.
My understanding
it doesn't even cover, I think we've talked about before, it doesn't even cover the sales tax we pay back in.
Well, my understanding is too that when they calculate square footage, they're including the non-classroom area. So they're including the boiler room, they're including the restrooms, and so forth. Perhaps a picture of the desk in a boiler room might be appropriate.
Yeah, and I can ask Barbara to clarify, but they do count spaces other than classroom spaces. And I know some of the proposals that were originally kind of being tossed around out there were continuing to do that. And so we've been trying to keep an eye on what the actual proposed bills say regarding that use of space and then how that factors into the calculation.
So, Eric, you just mentioned something that I twigged to memory. So, any traction on the sales tax for construction? Or is that
No,
something?
I haven't heard anything on that. I'll look into that.
I mean, it would be lovely if it happened, but I'm not counting on it.
What Director Carlson is talking about is a sales tax exemption for district school construction.
It's pretty much DOA.
I'm not, in everything I've read, I have not seen any bill proposal for that. Has anyone? Yeah.
There has been in the past. I'm not sure what's there now. All right, well, thank you very much. Do you have anything you'd like to add, Dr. Stavum, or? Okay. So with that, so I guess the one piece that came out of that as sort of an action item is to be able to do some follow-up with our reps in regards to the hot topics in the Legislative Assembly work.
I guess I would just add we're watching those as part of the School Alliance as well, and kind of trying to keep an eye on what's coming up in hearings and watching those. I was listening yesterday to both hearing rooms at the same time. I thought that was rather impressive. I don't recommend it. But things are moving along very, very quickly, and so it is a lot to keep track of. And when we look at kind of the updates that we get, it's a lot just to go through and look and see what's moving along. And so it's great to have the updates that we get from our different organizations. It's very, very helpful. It is very interesting to watch the hearings as well, and you can kind of get a flavor of some of the conversations that happen from that. We actually had some students who testified yesterday. Was that just yesterday? And had some of our high school students as well as some elementary students. It is a nearly full-time effort, though, to watch with the speed of things coming through hearings.
Thank you. So is there any board follow-up? Future agenda items?
Can I just make a positive comment about something I read in board briefs, I guess?
Absolutely.
So the SIPS reports. One of the things that I found fascinating was that AVID is spreading as a useful tool in classrooms outside of AVID classrooms. So for those not familiar, it's advancement via individual determination, and it uses sort of this inquiry process to help students who are struggling with a homework assignment try and dig down, and the group that's supporting the student ask the right questions so that the student can end up figuring the answer out themselves. And to see that there are some schools that are using that school-wide instead of just in the AVID classroom is very encouraging, because I wish I had had that before I went to college. I think everybody could benefit from it.
That's great. Thanks. Anything else? Okay, so then with that, I will just say when our next board meeting will be is March 4th. There'll be a study session on the elementary science adoption located in the Sammamish room, and at 7 p.m. followed by our board meeting. And with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
It has been moved by Director La Liberty and seconded by Director Carlson that we adjourn. All those in favor, please signify by voting aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Meeting is adjourned.